There are a few rules to follow when traversing through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The most important rule is one that's already been long established in comic books. Death isn't necessarily final, and some goodbyes are really just see you laters.
So dead brother, huh? Yeah, it could be annoying.
Well, he's been dead before.
As it turns out, that last rule will apply to the fourth Avengers movie in a big way. It's not really a surprise that some dearly departed heroes are making their way back to life in the super sequel, but according to one MCU actor, the Infinity War follow-up will be bringing one villain back from the dead in a super clever way. And if he's telling the truth, the details might just confirm a major fan theory. Speaking on the UFC Unfiltered podcast, actor Frank Grillo revealed that Marvel fans can expect to see him reprise his role as the Hydra agent/terrorist Brock Rumlow, also known as the comic book villain Crossbones. Now, you might be thinking, didn't Crossbones pretty clearly die by blowing himself up at the start of Captain America: Civil War? Well, yes he did. It was kind of a big deal with his explosive demise and the collateral damage it caused setting up the Sokovia Accords that still affect the movie's universe to this day. Yeah, there's not really any coming back from that one, but it's not like the villain is returning from the grave. Instead, audiences will be going back to the time before he died. It turns out Grillo's Crossbones will actually pop up in what he described as a flashback sequence. One might initially think that Grillo's remarks were just to keep the rumor mill churning, like other Avengers actors have done in the past, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Grillo made a point to mention that he can spill as many details as he'd like since he's not tied to a Marvel contract and doesn't expect to work with them again. It sounds fair to us, though we kind of doubt that Marvel producers are all that happy about his decision to spill the beans. The actor's exact words were, "I'm allowed to say whatever I want because I'm never doing another Marvel movie." But it's not because he doesn't like the company or the franchise. Apparently, he's just tired of the work it takes to be a supervillain. Or as he sarcastically put it, quote, "I'm 117 years old." At one point in the period between Civil War and Infinity War, Grillo sounded certain that he was done playing Crossbones for good, and even implied that he had turned down an opportunity to return to the series. He shared those thoughts during a January 2017 interview with Collider, discussing his departures from both the Purge franchise and the MCU. In the interview, he said, "There's nowhere for it to go, unless you're Captain America or Iron Man. They were talking about it, but I was like, you know what? I'd just rather not do it." But apparently something happened behind the scenes to change the actor's mind. By September 2017, the actor was hinting at a return appearance to the series. During an interview with Forbes, he said, "There is some Marvel news that nobody knows yet to do with my character that's going to be really interesting, and I'm excited about that." Almost a year later, in July 2018, Grillo sparked even more rumors that he'd play a part in Avengers 4 when he took to Instagram and shared a collage photo of a Crossbones action figure with the caption, "Okay, I guess my life is complete." Of course, the first two hashtags in his post referenced Grillo's appearances in the second and third Captain America movies, but that half-done third hashtag? Yeah, that's almost certainly a nod to Avengers 4. On the surface, Grillo's comments simply confirm what seems like a very small plot point of Avengers 4. Crossbones will reappear in a flashback scene. But looking at the bigger picture, his remarks actually seem to validate the long-standing fan theory that the sequel will see the surviving heroes from Infinity War traveling back in time to defeat Thanos. The theory goes that they'll be using the unique attributes of the quantum realm to go back into the past and obtain the Infinity Stones for themselves, effectively reversing the events of Infinity War before the battle with Thanos even begins. This theory first cropped up after fans got a peek at Avengers 4 set photos that showed Chris Evans wearing his Captain America costume from the Battle of New York sequence from 2012's Avengers, and it's been lingering in fans' minds ever since. In that sense, Crossbones' appearance will be less of a flashback and more of a do-over. As with everything out of the super secretive Marvel Studios, nothing is a guarantee until the company comes right out and says it is. And even then, it's still suspicious. The only way to know for sure what happens is to be there when Avengers 4 takes off on May 3rd, 2019.